Hi everybody, and welcome back to my crafty den. So I've decided to do something that I haven't done before. I have joined a challenge. So I was invited by Domestic Diva, who is Sonia, and she invited me to do a trash to treasure challenge. I love to upcycle thrift store finds, so it just seemed like a good fit for me. And I'm really happy to join this challenge. So it's being hosted by Sonia from Domestic Diva 76, and she does home organizing, lifestyle, DIYs, and a lot of crafting, that type of stuff on her channel. And she's really amazing. So go check her out and see if she's got something for you to watch, because I found her channel just recently and have been binge watching to get caught up. And her co-host is Sandra from Schwoen's Nest, and Sandra does she does amazing thrift store makeovers. Her channel is fairly new, but her crafts and her thrift store makeovers are truly amazing. So go show both those ladies some love. Check out what they've got on their channel, and so I'm gonna put a link to both their channels down in the description box, as well as a link to the playlist for everybody that's joining this challenge. So if you're interested in thrift store garage sale finds, used items, and seeing what people do with them and making them over and turning them into something beautiful and useful, then go check out that playlist for sure and see what all the lovely people who have joined this challenge have to offer. So if you're new here, thanks for joining me today, and please consider subscribing so that you can see what else I do on my channel. And if you're a returning viewer, then thanks for joining me today, and I really hope you all enjoy this video. So for this challenge, I'm going to start with this thrifted basket. I hauled this from our local thrift warehouse, and the price is $3, which I thought was a really good buy. Now, it's made out of the same wood material that a really old wicker basket, or not a wicker basket, a bushel basket would be made out of, except that it's not as big around. It's only about 12 inches at the bottom, and it's 15 inches at the top. So maybe 10 to 12 inches at the bottom. And it is, let's see how tall it is. It's 19 inches tall, so I love the height of it. And that's why I bought it, because it is, let's get down here so that you can see it's tall and thin. Now it has a lot of damage. That's why it was $3. It's got the slats that are holding it around the sides coming apart. And but I see potential in this. So the very first thing that I did was put a drop cloth under my chair, throw my basket up there, and then removed the strapping that goes around the basket. The slats going up and down the basket, the sides of the basket, are in good shape, and the top and the bottom rims are in good shape. It was just the slats that went around the basket, the binding slats. So I removed them because they had cracked and pieces had broke off. Everywhere there was a staple holding them into the basket, they had cracked and split. This basket's old, and it was just dried right out. So I got, that's what I did. I very carefully removed everything. I tried not to pry too hard. In spots, I'd have to put my fingers underneath inside the basket to make sure that I held onto those slats, because I did not want the main sides of the basket to crack or break. Remember, I want to use this as a piece of decor, so I didn't want to do any more damage to the basket than was already done. So here I'm using I think I'm using a screwdriver here to try to pop out the rest of the slats and the staples, but I realized it didn't work and I had to go get another little knife to do it. But anyway, I got them all out and I didn't cause any more damage to the basket, so I was quite happy about that. And yeah, that was all I did besides wiping it down and giving it a cleaning. That's all I did to prep the basket. Once all the staples are out of it and I've given it a nice dusting off and a damp wipe, then I start to paint it one coat in the chalk paint. I will link the brand of the chalk paint and the where I bought it and the color down below. The color is called Boathouse and it's such a pretty blue. But I'm only giving it one coat and I'm trying to give it good coverage, but at the same time use a dry enough brush that little hints of the wood show through. And because this wood is so dry, the paint soaks in quite a bit too, and that helps. But I wanted to give it a kind of a light brushed paint look, and I think I succeeded in that fairly well. You can see areas of the wood slats showing through the final product where there's just hints of wood, almost like it didn't get enough paint in the first place, which is what an old country piece would look like to me. Not so much chipped off of a dry wood like this, but somebody tried to paint it and they just gave it a cover up, and that's all I'm doing here. So once I had the basket prepped and painted, I knew I had to put something around it that would help fortify the basket and give it a little bit more strength around the sides, because I'd removed those wooden slats, those binding slats that were around it. So I had this burlap ribbon. It has a finished edge on both sides, so I'm going to call it a piece of ribbon. So I had this burlap ribbon that was 5 inches wide, and I had purchased this at Dollarama. So I took my hot glue and I started at what would be the back of the basket, and I would put a strip of hot glue across each slat and then hold the ribbon down into the glue until it dried, basically. And each time I did it, I put a little bit of pressure with my other hand on the slats and kind of pushed them in so that they would be a little bit closer together, if that makes any sense. I think you can kind of see what I'm doing, but yeah, when I got to the end, I just I trimmed it off. I actually trimmed it a little bit short, so I was trying to overlap that at the back a little bit and glue it, and it was just barely making it. But after I was done going around the top of the ribbon, then I took my hot glue and I went around the bottom. But because the basket tapers, there were a few, I started in the front when I did this so that I could get it nice and smooth at the front, and in between a couple of the slats I would have to give the bottom of the ribbon a little wee bit of a pinch together. So, and when I did that, I just kind of shoved it into the holes between the slats, if that makes any sense, because the basket was smaller at the bottom of the ribbon than it was at the top of the ribbon. So that's what I'm doing. And once it's all secure and in place, I kind of thought it looked a little bit plain. But I had this other ribbon that I got from Dollarama, and it was a braided paper ribbon. And that's exactly what it was. It was like braided paper, but it was a nice creamy white, and I thought it would look perfect as a contrast to the burlap. And there was just enough on this little spool of ribbon to do this. I bought this quite a while ago. Not sure what I was going to use it for, but kind of glad that I did now because it looks really nice on this piece. But anyway, I just put a bead of hot glue along the back of the ribbon for 6 or 8 inches each time, and just wrapped it around the middle of the burlap ribbon. And I think it finished it off nicely. There's probably other things I could do. I could have put a bow on this, like a nice big jute bow or a flower or something like that. But I didn't want to. I wanted to keep this kind of plain. I could still do that down the line if I decide to. But yeah, I just was kind of trying to keep this a little bit plain, because by leaving it plain, I can use it for more than one thing. Living room. This plant stand is what it is now. Looks really, really pretty in its new home, and it's a great spot for my Christmas cactus. So I hope you enjoyed this challenge, Trash to Treasure challenge. So, and don't forget to check out Sandra's channel at Schwowen's Nest and Sonia's channel at Domestic Diva. And as well, I will put a link in the description box to all the wonderful people who decided to join in this challenge. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. And yeah, if you want to see more content on my channel, don't forget to subscribe. And I will see everybody in the next video. Bye-bye for now, everybody, and have a wonderful day.